Good afternoon, folkers. It's me, Snap Turtle, and the truck on the way to work. Once again, back to the plantation. And today, the weather is sunny, clear, for the most part. 71 degrees right now. And to the north are chemtrails, folkers. These are probably the remnants of the storm breaker, as I like to call it. The chemtrails, I call them storm breakers because that's exactly what happened yesterday. All right, got some interesting videos for you guys to see, showing the layer of chemtrail formations on top of the regular cloud formations. All right, that's how they do it. They want to break up some rain clouds. They want to stop the rain. They spray above the clouds, right? Irradiate the trails and prevent the rain from falling. All right, that's what happens.
In a quarter of a mile, left turn at the end of the road onto South 1 D Avenue.
Today, get right into it, man. Today I want to talk about Russia. All right, first I want to talk about Russia and what's going on
Left turn
over
at the
there.
end of the road and then right turn.
There is a treaty between
Proceed about 7/10 of a mile.
there is a treaty
Avenue.
between several of the superpowers
On the
that
right.
have nuclear
Slow
capability.
traffic.
Okay, and this treaty prevents
In half of a mile,
the building
left turn onto
of a nuclear
West
arsenal,
Swanson Avenue.
of any warhead of a certain yield. Okay, it can't have more than a certain yield and a certain range and all that, right? So there's this treaty. Russia and the U.S. is involved. Now, Russia, well, actually, the U.S. is right now trying to pull out of that treaty, and in response, Russia says that they're going to start building those nuclear weapons that are hereby banned by the treaty, right? Now, this is because, now I talked about Russia and China before, right? And Russia is doing this, well, the United States is doing this in response to a naval attack on Ukrainian ships that Russia made. Okay? Russia attacked some Ukrainian ships
Proceed about 1 mile.
because, like I told you,
South Figueroa Street.
Russia is trying to get
Ahead, on the right. Slow traffic.
certain European nations back into its fold that once formed the USSR, right? Where they're trying to get those back. And one way that they do that is through aggression. Okay? They invaded Georgia, all right, in Eastern Europe, and now they're attacking naval ships that belong to the Ukraine, and of course the U.S. is aiding the Ukraine in defending against Russian aggression. Now, you know, as usual, we are putting our nose in the shit that doesn't concern us, okay? But this is all happening to make way for the excuse of building a larger nuclear arsenal, all right, for both sides. So because Russia is trying to get the Ukraine back into the USSR, like many other Eastern European nations, the U.S. has to say, no, you can't do that, all right? So this will be very interesting. You know, just a little breaking news because, like I said, I like to peep military strategy. Right, I like that. You know, I always think about strategy in terms of how one superpower will go about gaining more power and becoming the ultimate superpower. There are several ways that these countries will do that. What Russia wants to do is they want to take all the European nations that used to be part of the USSR, they want to take it back. Okay? All those independent nations now, they want that back. Okay? And eventually, they're going to look at the entirety of Europe to bring it to the fold. What's going to stop them from doing that once they get these Eastern European nations back into the USSR? Well, we're supposed to stop that. That's going to be what's going to happen. Okay? And meanwhile, China is doing things a little differently. Okay? They're buying land, they're investing in Africa and certain Caribbean nations, and they're going to gain a foothold there. See, this is a pincer attack. All right? A pincer attack is when you're the target and they're attacking you from two different sides at an angle. Okay? And this is what China and Russia is doing. They're trying to get all of these places into their fold. Okay? And there are certain islands, okay? There are certain islands, there are certain smaller nations that will become strategic outposts for countries like China and Russia, okay? And that's why they're always talking about conflict between the U.S. and China about certain islands, okay, in Southeast Asia. China's like, no, that's ours. That belongs to us. And we're like, no, y'all can't have that. Y'all can't have that to do what you want. You know, that's why they're in Malaysia doing what they're doing. See, all this is strategy, okay? And at the same time, they're all in agreement that, look, we need to reduce the population, okay? So we must work together on that. Then once we reduce the population to a manageable amount, then we can get back to fighting each other. But make no mistake that they will always be mortal enemies, all right? Even though right now they are working together for a common goal, once that common goal is finished, it's going to be back on them, okay? Right now they're just doing a lot of posturing. That's what this is. What Russia's doing to the Ukraine is posturing. Look, they attacked some naval ships. They could do a lot worse than that, okay? You saw what happened in Georgia, okay? Georgia, they had to make that move, and we had to let them, okay? Now look, this is very important to us back here. Because that means the more conflict that we become involved in, the more of our sons and daughters are going to be pulled into it, okay? If you have children of conscription age, you need to do something to make them, you know, exempt. I don't know. I don't know what you could do. You know, send them to school. I don't know. Look, when that comes down, it is what it is. They're going to want that. They're going to want your children to come fight their wars for them. And this is, like I said, this is all part of the plan, depopulation. You know, they draft a bunch of people, send them out there. You know, send them out to Russia, send them to Eastern Europe, send them to Syria, send them to Libya, send them to Yemen, okay, to die and to contract some type of disease and, you know, have infertility problems, you know, have fertility problems and all that. It's all part of the plan, okay? We're already spread thin. Our troops are already spread thin, so they're going to need to draft. That's coming to a head. And let's not forget Venezuela. Okay? Venezuela is also part of it. It's a whole grab. This is all strategic. And it's very important to us. It's very important for us to prepare. Because Right now, what's happening in Yemen is they're not getting the food aid that they need. All right, 200 million people, or 2 million people, or something like that, right now do not have access to readily available food and water and things like that. And this is what happens when the conflict is right at your front door. Okay, you get cut off. Right, you get cut off, and other countries that would like to come and aid you cannot do it because you're in the middle of a conflict and they're not about to risk their lives to bring you food and water. They might be able to airdrop, but you have to get to it before the invaders do. So this is what's happening in Yemen, okay? And this is a good lesson for us to prepare in terms of food and water. Make sure we get enough food and water and medical supplies, okay? Whatever kind of medical supplies we need, whatever kind of first aid we need, you know. Make sure you have doctors and nurses in your fold, in your circle, that are like-minded and are willing to prepare with you and willing to participate in the coming conflict, okay? Because no one is going to want to aid us when the invasion is in our doorstep, because they hate us so much, because we don't mind our own business. So why should they care about why should they care about the citizens of the U.S. if the U.S. never gave a care about them? They drag them in conflict, they bomb them to shit. They bomb all these civilian cities and towns. Why the hell should they care about what we got going on out here? Well, they don't. They don't. We must understand this. So we have to make sure we have everything we need on hand. All right? We need that. Because this thing with Russia, you know, there's always been some posturing going on. But now it seems like it's building. And, you know, we need to watch that. And also, in regards to, you know, the European Union, well, the European Union is seeing what's going on with the oil, with Iran and all that stuff, okay? Now, what the U.S. is doing right now, we're screwing a lot of things up in terms of getting oil for other countries. So, you know, the European Union, from what I gather, is planning on getting away from petrodollar and using their own system to buy oil. So what happens when that happens? Well, our economy begins to collapse because a lot is riding on that petrodollar that we have been dominating with and that we have a monopoly on. So that's a problem. We don't have anything to back our dollar. So the OPEC, which is the formation or the group, the conglomerate of oil country that owns all the oil, and they come together and do pricing and things like that, and they go through the U.S. dollar for now, and that's going to stop soon. Soon that is not going to be what it is. When you have a country, when you have a union such as the European Union pulling out of the dollar, it's not like they can't do what they did to the Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. It's not going to work like that. You're talking about a whole bunch of European nations. They're not going to tolerate anything that the U.S. tries to do in regards to keeping them on the U.S. dollar. So that's going to be a major issue for us right here in the U.S. I'm talking about economic collapse, the likes of which we have never experienced. Okay? The likes of which we have never experienced. And yeah, we have to prepare. We have to be self-sustainable. We have to be independent. because our government go ahead, okay, and that's why Obama signed an executive order that would allow UN troops to come into the United States and keep order if ever our military is unable to do so. This is what your esteemed president, your black president, did. He made it possible for the UN to declare martial law in the United States and send troops, foreign troops, to maintain and stabilize that martial law. Now, that's crazy that happened. You know, it was probably the most, okay? That was treasonous. Our president should not be giving carte blanche to the UN to run up in here in the United States and do what thou wilt. Because that's exactly what happened. They gave him carte blanche. Okay? And you know, this is why they're doing a gun grab. Okay? This is why they're doing that. This is why they're attacking the First Amendment. That's why they're demolishing the Fourth Amendment before our very eyes. And we do nothing. This is real shit right here. Okay? Yeah, it's very important that we understand that this is happening. You know, one day I want to get on the computer and I'm going to show some things. I'm not really savvy with the computer right now like that, but maybe I can. If I have to, I'll print out some shit and read it to you. Something, I don't know. But this has to. We have to wake up. Right? I say that constantly, and I'm always. And I told you guys about the Russia thing. I told y'all Russia is making moves to gain control in Europe. And there's really nothing that we can do about it right now. I mean, that's why we had the Cold War with Russia in the first place. You can't just go over and bomb Russia. They'll bomb us. They'll nuke us. We nuke them, they nuke us. That's what mutually assured destruction is all about. So right now, it's a war of attrition. It's a war where there is no front lines for now. Okay? What this is a war of, this is a war of gaining superior position. Okay? Meanwhile, they are prepared to depopulate. So when the depopulation agenda is complete, that superior position, that power with the superior position is going to be the head of this new world order, so to speak. And make no mistake, they have different ideas. Okay? Now, Israel. I feel like Israel is really pulling a lot of strings right here. You know, they're making a lot of things happen. You know what's interesting about Israel? They developed the 5G weaponry. They developed that. And they use it for crowd control. They used it to make crowds sick, so they would stop protesting and stop gathering and things like that. They would point these 5G dishes at people, you know, within 200 feet, of course. You can't be too far away. And they would emit these millimeter waves to quell the crowd, to quell the riot, or whatever. So, yeah, this is what we have, okay? And what the interesting thing is, the interesting thing about this, even though Israel developed 5G technology, they will not be rolling it out in Israel. They're not subjecting their own people to this 5G technology. Why is that? Why? They developed it. They developed it. Why aren't they going to roll it out in their own country? Because they know the harm that it'll cause to its people. See, now, Israel is willing to protect its people and to not harm them. Whereas, the U.S. government,
Stop-and-go traffic.
it is what it is for us. They don't really give a shit. They're willing to sacrifice millions of us, hundreds of millions of us, to achieve that goal. Okay, and Israel's going to sit back. They have their people. They're not going to depopulate their people. They're not going to depopulate their country. Once the depopulation agenda is complete, Israel is going to start spreading out too. So, yeah, that's what we on. It's really not much to say more than that. Yeah, going back. No one's in the chat right now. It's all good. You guys can go back and listen to this and watch it, whatever. Give y'all some information. Now, earlier I did a video. I actually did a video, a little boxing tutorial. And I was talking about defense and the importance of it. I'm just going to stray off a little bit, stray off the subject. I think I made it pretty clear that we're at war with Russia. We're at war with China. We're at war with every country in the United States that doesn't go along with what we want to go with. Okay? That's pretty much all it is to it. Now, in terms of Russia, like I said, Russia, China, Venezuela, Iran, Syria, Yemen, Africa, okay, parts of Africa. We are at war in conflict with all these people. But again, I'm going to diverge a little bit. I was talking about in my video earlier today that I uploaded, the boxing tutorial. I was talking about defense and how important it is, right? In fighting. And I forgot to mention what to look for, how to watch for a punch, okay? How to know when someone is going to attack or strike or whatever. It's very important, okay, to look at the person's shoulders. Their front shoulder is a great indicator of what's to come. And a lot of people know this, so they'll feint with the shoulder. They'll like raise the shoulder a little bit to get you to jump, but you got to pay attention, okay? Watch what comes after that shoulder. Don't fall for the feint, all right? Now, a really good boxer, a really good fighter, is going to know how to feint real good and throw you off and catch you off guard. So, yeah, so look for that shoulder. Now, the key is, this is important, okay? See, but don't look, okay? When it comes to paying attention to detail and looking for something that's out of place, looking for an anomaly in general, see, but don't look. That means if I'm standing in front of an opponent and we're fighting, I'm not going to look directly at his shoulder, okay? But I am going to see his shoulder. That's what I'm going to pay the most attention to. Don't look at his hands. Don't look at his face. Don't look into his eyes. You're looking at his front shoulder. But you're seeing his front shoulder, but you're not looking at it. You're not looking directly at it, because he'll detect that. Okay, a good opponent will detect that, and they'll start feinting and doing all the other shit to throw you off. And you want to pay attention. Even if they throw it across, or if they punch with their backhand, they're still going to indicate with their front shoulder, because they're going to drop it or whatever, or they're going to move it. They're going to move it here, And that's important. But you're not looking directly at it. You don't want them to know that. So it's actually better to see and not look when you are looking for something out of place. Let's say there's a fly in your space, and you're trying to follow the fly with your eyes directly. You're looking at the fly. Well, don't look at the fly. Don't look for the fly directly. See. Look at the entire space. Okay. Pay attention to all the detail around you. Okay. All the detail in front of you. Don't focus on one area. Don't focus on one spot. But see, when that fly gets to moving and flying around, once it picks up and goes somewhere, if you lose it, you lose the fly. You're seeing the area that the fly should be in. The fly takes off, you'll see it just like that, and you can take care of it. It'll work, guaranteed. So if you lose something, or you're chasing something, or you're across from your opponent, don't look. See when that shoulder moves, but don't look. Don't focus on that directly. Okay. Some people tell you to focus on the shoulders, but I can see if you're looking at my shoulders. I can make you do what I want you to do with my shoulder. You don't want that. Okay. That's also important. Plus, when a guy gets tired, they'll start dropping their hands and dropping their shoulders and get a little bit lazier. So yeah, it'll be easier to detect something looking at the shoulder, especially at that point. All right. Anyway, let me get off this. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want. It is what it is. All right. Share this video, get the message out there. All right. You don't even have to share. Don't even have to share. Just let people know how important it is. Correct. Because of this shit that's going on in Russia and China. Alright? Peace.